So I had a leak. My manifold, or have a leak. This is a demonstration of, you know, I really hate to dig out sprinkle lines, so there's my manifold. I have a leak down there at the valve. So what I need to do, of course, when I fix this, it was like at the end of the season, I just basically put a hole and re-snaked and rerouted the wire, and it ended up not being the wire, and it ended up being a bad ground on the common. So what I did was I put a double ganged right over there, a couple of lugs screwed together with a stainless steel screw, but didn't realize that I had a leak in that valve down there. As you can see, that the sprinkle line, whoops, is askewed. I tried putting a hose clamp on it, but that didn't fix it. So what that was causing was the inside of the box was getting all corroded with all the terminals, and the next season I was having zones that weren't working. I says, what is going on? So now I dug out the box last weekend. Now I have to continue going back. I just removed some bushes, shrubs, and now I have to dig back so I can replace or patch the manifold line. So in doing that, I absolutely hate digging out sprinkle lines because you can't, you know, go balls to the wall. So I'm going to use a shop vac. I'm going to take all this dirt here. It's all going to go into the shop vac, 16 gallons. I'll stop midway through, empty out my vacuum, and continue on. And I found that that is the best way. It's actually really easy. As soon as you agitate the dirt up, and we'll be able to get to see the lines relatively quickly without any real manual labor. So that's my demonstration. I'm going to get started. You can work your way around where you need to be. You know, you get something caught up in your vacuum, just remove it, keep going. I'm sure this has been done before, but I had a stroke of genius this last weekend. And I'm like, hey, you know what would be really cool? Using the vacuum. Maybe this will work better. I really can't agitate the dirt. Buddy, lock. vacuum. There's some dirt in there. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to empty it. Now, this is really dense, wet soil. Like I mentioned, dense soil. When I dug out the box, I don't really have a lot of roots. And this is what is terrible about digging out sprinkler lines. That you can't go crazy. Gotta get a pair of snips, but I need to fix. So I'm going to try to dig out most of it. Bring it up. All these roots. I think I loaded up the hose too much. Nope, it's clogged in here. Alright. Okay, so that's basically quick work, you know, instead of sitting there with a hand shovel, which I find to be incredibly time consuming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hand clippers, and I'm going to cut back some of those roots, continue vacuuming so I can get at that line, and then I'm just going to put a bullet in it, or a straight through coupling, and then try to get on the manifold straight, not at a freaking angle, and that's where it's leaking from at the angle. That straight line there that's teed, that might need to be removed, so at least will give me a little bit more access to the one underneath it. I hate removing stuff, but might not need a choice. I'm just going to hit it with some heat. It'll help expand the polyethylene, and it'll come pop right off, and I'll show that in a little bit. So, alright. So I evacuated the hole a little bit more. I removed some of those stupid roots. Of course, there's always something in your way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that T. So maybe that will give me a little bit more access to movement for the hose underneath it. Well, maybe I just shouldn't move it at all, because I'm not going to be able to, I shouldn't be able to, well, I'm sort of thinking as I'm talking, and I'm not really making any sense, because I'm not really a professional at doing this, but I'm a pretty good hands-on type of guy, so I can figure out things relatively easy. But so basically I got 3 hose clamps just in case if I remove that, a nut driver, my replacement parts, and a torch. So here's my 1-inch pipe. I'm gonna sit down in here, I'm afraid to get dirty. And the manifold is like this. So I'm wondering if I just melt the plastic to fit the angle. I don't know if that's commonly done or not, but I know something this thick. I work with plastic on my hobbies, and I know it could be done. But this guy here, and I do have the water shut off downstairs. Remember that, shut off the water or else you'll have a geyser. So I guess I'll start removing these clamps. I used this clamp last week thinking it'll be a quick fix, but I was incorrect. Now I have to remove these stupid Oak-Deer clamps, which are great, but they need to be cut off. I don't have a remover, and of course they need to be, they're stainless steel, and they're incredibly hard to cut through. So I just kind of grab it with a pair of dikes. Very strong wire cutters, and just wiggle it until it does snap and break off. That's one. I got 2 to go. One more to go. There's 2 on it. You know, I should really bleed the system with air. But I said, you know what? Screw it. Sort of in this fetal position here. Really need 2 hands to work with this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to heat the pipe. I have plenty of room. Always leave yourself enough room. I'm just going to cut it. My coupler, I'm going to go here. That's what I'm thinking about doing. These are cheap. Harbor Freight. I think they were like $3. They were on sale. I'm going to take my torch. I'm going to heat up the plastic just a little bit so it expands. And that is the reason why it was leaking. It was probably leaking from installation. Somebody melted this way too much or didn't know how. Was this an apprentice working? I don't know. Incorrect way to melt pipe. And of course, I gotta fish out my nut driver. Alright. So now here comes the tricky part. With matching this with that. Then I'm going to come over here. This is MAP gas. It's a little hotter than propane, but it's got the quick start feature on it, and that's why I'm using it. Just enough to heat up the plastic. When you start seeing it turn shiny on the outside, you know you're good. And that's it. So, for extra security, get my hose clamp so I don't forget. You know, it's nothing like doing wiring. You solder it all up, and you forget the shrink tubing. It's kind of sort of the same thing. You put it all together and you forget the hose clamp. Well, the hose clamp isn't a big deal because really you can unscrew it and then put it back on like I did with this one. It ends up getting all deformed and, well, anyway. So now I'm going to see where we are at. Match. Match. But since this is going to be angled, it's going to be a little bit further. So I guess I'll do this side first, and then the manifold. So measure how much tube you're going to need by straight shot, and then make sure your stuff is clean, you know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. I'm going to think if I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to cut it to right about there. And this is just all best guess. Hello. really low. Is this common practice? I have no idea. I just know it's going to work. Yeah, that's great. Shit. Okay. Now, yeah, see, that is really bad. Where they put this? I'll pull this off for now.